How's everybody doing? Happy almost leap year. Good to be here. Hopefully it's a productive week for us. So excited to be here. It's really, the combine is interesting because it gives us an opportunity to really learn the players' stories. I'd say that's really the big thing. The on-field workouts, I think that's more for you all to watch and figure out who runs fast and who doesn't. But the next time we use how fast an offensive lineman ran a 40 in our evaluation will be a first. Excited about the opportunity here in front of us to try to continue to build a team. A number of players that we have on our roster that will be free agents. We probably have, I don't know if it's as many free agents as any team in the league. So we have a number of players that'll be free agents. So working through that process here currently and just working on building the 2024 team and roster. So excited about what happened last season. Players, the coaches, and the staff should be proud of what we accomplished. But at this point, we're kind of moving forward, looking ahead to the 2024 season and all the things that go along with it. So with that, take some questions. And go ahead, Sarge. Start with you.
Last year you came in knowing exactly what you need as far as looking for a quarterback. This year, where are you looking to add coming out of the draft to fill some of the depth situation?
Yeah, I think the big thing with just this whole spring is just try to improve the team, build a team, improve the team. We have certain areas and certain players on our roster that made significant contributions, happy they're on our team. But the big thing DeMeco and I have talked about on a consistent basis is just trying to build as deep and consistent a roster, top to bottom. There's going to be certain players whose roles are bigger than others, but the roles that some players have are certainly going to be significant. So we're just trying to optimize our opportunities, try to take advantage of our opportunities to add players to our team. The free agency it's a process. Nothing's going to happen overnight. I'd say we've had constructive conversations with a number of agents. Start with our players. We'll have an opportunity to visit with some of the agents of other players that may want to be Houston Texans. Whether or not there's a mutual interest or not, we'll find that out here as we go. But I think it's just finding the right people with the right mindset and the right mentality to fit the program that we're trying to build. That's the most important thing. Yeah, I haven't been able to keep track of all the moves, but anytime that you give up an asset, you're getting assets in return, and what you do with those assets is all about the decisions that you make. And we're fortunate that we've added players that have been able to help our team. Each year is going to be different, but that's in the past. And, where we are today, we have a number of players that we've been able to acquire that have helped our team. Hopefully that continues moving forward. But Cleveland, a lot of respect for Cleveland, their organization. They have a good football team. They've won a lot of football games. Deshaun's going to be a good player in this league for a long time. So we're focused on the Houston Texans and what can we do to continue to build our team so that we can put the best product out there on a weekly basis.
Infrastructure in place is so critical for a young quarterback coming in. Last year, how did you know that the infrastructure would be what it was to get that from here?
You never really know. When you go back and kind of look at last year, there was a lot of new people, coaching staff, new players, but we felt comfortable with DeMeco did a great job. We did a great job putting the staff together, offensively, specifically starting with Bobby, coaches like Bill Lazor, Shane Day, Gerard Johnson. And when we put the staff together in February, we didn't know what our team was going to look like, who the quarterback was going to be. We knew that we were going to evaluate a number of players during the course of the spring. And you really don't know, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. You learn about each other from where we were in May to where we ended up at the end of the season, almost like night and day. And there's things that we learned this year that hopefully can utilize. There's some areas that we hopefully can improve, and some of the things that we didn't do as well. I think the one thing we're excited about is we're able to continue with some degree of continuity relative to seasons past. So even with our coaching staff specifically, we had a number of coaches interview for other jobs. Some of them made a decision to stay and be a part of our program, which is a credit to them. It's really a credit to DeMeco, and it's a credit to the players. So anytime you have continuity from one year to the next, it's important because at least it gives you sort of a foundation in place. Now, the team's going to be different. The opponents are going to be different. So there's going to be a lot of things that are different. But to be able to keep a number of things at least similar or the same, hopefully be beneficial to us. Go ahead.
Said that you feel like the success you all had this past 11 days allows you all to kind of accelerate what you all want to do as far as perhaps maybe spending more in free agency.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that means. I think our focus is just trying to put the best team together possible.
Can I clarify?
Sure.
Yeah, like, previous years had to do a lot of 1-2 year contracts to get out of the salary cap or that you all were in the veteran territory. And I'm just wondering, can you spend more in free agency this year compared to previous years? Like, do you feel comfortable enough with that, given that you all had some?
Free agency is case by case. So you look at the player, you look at his role, what's the value of the player, have an understanding of the market, what are your options, is that the best thing for the football team? In the end, we're going to do what we think is best for the Houston Texans team. DeMeco has said this countless times. I've expressed this countless times. It's not about one person. It's not about one player. Every year is different. We're not really believers in windows, not really sure what that means. So it's about the 2024 season, trying to put the best team together. What are our options? We'll explore our options, and we'll try to make good decisions, good sound decisions that make sense for our team. Go ahead, Aaron.
You've mentioned many times, hoping to build something that every year is competitive. How much is this offseason pivotal, just like the others, to try to keep building, keep taking steps where you're a competitor like last year?
Yeah, every year is important. Every year is different. And there's going to be challenges that we face this season, maybe that we haven't faced in the past. We're going to play a lot of good teams this year. And even if you look at our season, there were, 8 or 9 one-score games. So a number of games could have gone either way. So it starts with the people. So do you have the right people with the right mindset, with the right mentality? They obviously have to have a certain level of skill to be able to go out there and perform their jobs at a competitive level. So the team building process, it's not one period of time. Free agencies, the draft's the draft. There's a number of players that we added at the beginning of the season, during the course of the season, that helped our team. So I think just maintaining as much optionality, being adaptable, being flexible. Your circumstances may change. You may be forced to make a decision about a position or about a player. So the big thing that we emphasize is just good, sound, consistent decision making, and let the process play itself out, and we'll have a better understanding of what our team looks like probably once we get to training camp. Go ahead, Chris.
You come to a combine and not see Bill Belichick, and I'm also curious about your thoughts about the group that they have in place now, specifically.
Yeah, I'd say the league is always better when people like Bill Belichick are around. I mean, you look at this offseason, Coach Carroll, Coach Belichick. Coach Belichick is the best coach in the history of not only football, sport, in my opinion. He's a big reason that I'm where I am today, so I have a lot of respect and appreciation, admiration for him. Say there's a number of folks in New England that they have in place that they feel comfortable with. They have a lot of talented people, so they're probably going through a process of trying to figure things out, and I think all of us, that's what we do each year. You just sort of try to figure things out. So certainly wish them nothing but the best. I'm appreciative of my 20 seasons that I had in New England. But the game's better when people like Bill are around or involved. So I'm sure he'll figure out whatever he's going to do here in the spring, and we're all going to benefit from it.
Given what happened last year and the available backs.
Repeat your question, please.
Running back market, what do you see happening this year, given what happened last year and the available backs?
In terms of what do I think is going to happen, we're all going to find out. So free agency is just, it's what does the market tell you? So, and then any player, what are you willing to pay that player commensurate with their role? So every year markets change, and I think sometimes what happens is, I'd say with some of the tender numbers, you sort of get pigeonholed or benchmarked, because once you establish a certain financial commitment level, that's almost used as a starting point. So you're either comfortable paying that level or you're not, and it's all about resource allocation. So our job is to try to find good football players and add good players to our team. We have a couple free agents at that position, so we're going to evaluate that position like we do other positions as well. And DeMeco talked about this yesterday. I mean, Motor had a great year, did a lot of good things for us. Motor's a free agent, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So there's a lot of good players that are out there. There's a lot of good players that are out there at a number of different positions, and our job is to evaluate and try to make good decisions. Go ahead.
Running back position, obviously New England for a long time had
say it's just a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
backs,
Kid coming
but
from
the way you guys
Ohio,
are
just
built,
great
rookie
feeling.
contract,
Blessed to be here. Blessed to wake up this
receiver
morning.
contracts,
Great.
people look at you as somebody who could tap into the top of that.
I would say
We'll see.
Nick, when you look at
We'll start. Go ahead, and then we'll go here.
When you guys drafted Will and Henry last year, how accessible was Nick Saban, and what makes those players accessible to the depth of the draft process?
Yeah, Nick is great to talk to. I mean, it's similar to Bill in some respects. They have such a library and a history of players that you can benchmark against one another. You're talking about two of the best minds in football. So I've had a number of conversations with Coach Saban before the draft, not only last year but previous years, and his insight is very valuable and useful. I mean, I think everybody who spoke on Will's behalf and the way Will was presented, we saw that in spades, and maybe it was even better than maybe we even thought. So we're happy that Will's on our team. Henry did a great job this year as well, kind of in his role. Kind of came in as a backup. He was forced to play in the middle of the year. I'm going to say weeks 4, 5, 6, where we had some players that were injured, and he went out there and had some productive plays. So excited about those two players and their growth, and really from year 1 to year 2, and try to improve on some of the things that they did last year over here.
Building, what kind of tool is the franchise tag as you go about assessing maybe a player that's worthy of it, or multiple players that are eligible to be tagged? How do you use the franchise?
Yeah, it's a part of it. It has to be a part of your calculus, and it's really a fixed number. So anytime you assign a tag to a player, it's essentially you're committed to that value. Now, it doesn't mean you can't work out a long-term contract extension with that player, but it's sort of a fixed number. And I would say, kind of like I talked about a little bit earlier, it's almost a starting point in a negotiation. So you have to figure out, is that valuable? Does that make sense? Or let the player get to the open market, let the market dictate what the value is. So honestly, it's a little cat and mouse game. So you just try to take the information in, try to have a general understanding of the market, and try to make a good decision. We have some flexibility relative to financial commitments that we might be able to make, but you don't necessarily have to use all your money up in 1 year. So we've tried to, and I've talked about this previously, really look at your team in sort of 2-year increments. So whatever you don't do this year, that money's going to be used in future years. I'm sure I'll get a question here very soon about Nico Collins. That's coming. So that could be a player that maybe he's a part of the future. So you're dealing with the present. You're focused on the short term, but part of our responsibility is to kind of think ahead a little bit. So, and just try to make good, sound decisions for the team and the organization.